You've already seen trends of Gen Z becoming more religious. We have 2/3 of Gen Z identifying with religion.
I think you've heard the Trumps talking about it a little bit more, but this just shows you the impact that's going on. I mean, for all of Gen Z, it's caused them to speak louder, pray louder.
I think people, Gen Z is kind of aching for that feeling of belonging.
Has Gen Z, or as our American friends say, Gen Z, gone Bible? In the month following the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, US Bible sales have surged by a whopping 36%. No fewer than 2.4 million copies of the good book were sold in September alone. Now, some evangelical leaders, easy for you to say, are calling it a revival. Others caution it may just be simply a moment, not a movement. With me is the Washington Examiner's Madeline Shultz, and Adrienne Gray is still with us in the studio. Madeline, what's going on? We saw those astonishing scenes in Arizona for Charlie Kirk's funeral. We saw equally astonishing scenes at the White House. People are saying they're talking about God in a way they haven't for years. J.D. Vance says he's talked about Jesus more in the last month than he has in the last year. Is it fair that something's happening out there, or is it just a blip?
I think the positive thing for this idea of revival, the thing that makes me think maybe this is really happening, this has some staying power, is the fact that it was already kind of going on before the assassination of Charlie Kirk, before all of this kind of violence that I think kind of shook people awake. You've already seen trends of Gen Z becoming more religious. We have 2/3 of Gen Z identifying with religion. It's very rare historically for young people to be such a strong demographic of wanting to kind of pursue faith. And also 24% of them are going to church, which shows a real initiative that they want to be active in their faith. And so I think now that you see stuff like the Charlie Kirk assassination, people are really waking up.
Do you think it's linked to the sort of wider, been talked at length about the decline of, fascinating stats showing the decline of college students identifying as non-binary. We saw the election last year where America tilted rightward, especially younger Americans. Do these things go hand in hand? Is the cultural and political tilt back to the right, you could argue, also, is the religion part of that?
Yeah, I think there's kind of a backlash to not only sort of excesses of the left that people are seeing, but also this atomization. Gen Z is the generation of the iPhone and of the internet. They are not used to being in community, I think, the way that a lot of older generations are. And with them going to church, you see them building this community with like-minded people.
It's a rejection of the phones, the social media, being locked up for a large part of their formative years. Adrienne, Donald Trump keeps talking about not getting into heaven. He keeps saying, "I'm not going to. You know what? I'm working on it, but I'm not quite sure." Obviously, if you look at the president's career, life, past, him as a sort of religious pin-up is quite the journey, right?
Yeah, I think you've heard the Trumps talking about it a little bit more, but this just shows you the impact that's going on. I mean, for all of Gen Z, it's caused them to speak louder, pray louder, and go and buy Bibles and find community. And I think at the end of the day, you kill a generation that he basically, got behind his movement. You kill their leader. And what that does to people is it radicalizes them. And what we're seeing basically is AOC spitting word salad again, okay? She's basically now reusing all of the talking points that the left did to deem masculinity bad. She's coming out and she's saying, you know what? This is toxic masculinity. And so she wants these young men to apologize for being masculine. All the things that Charlie Kirk promoted in faith, in strong men in America. So you're also seeing those washed up talking points that are really going to hurt Democrats moving forward.
We all live in the sort of online sphere, certainly probably far more than we should. Is this revival really led online, or is it through more traditional means? I mean, we're seeing a surge of online sort of discussion of Christianity and of religion. Is this an online-led movement or a rejection of it, as Madeline sort of?
Well, I think it's a balance of both. It's a rejection of certain ideas that were started online, but Charlie Kirk, I mean, he capitalized on the internet, okay? Turning point in all of the right-wing media that we have, Daily Wire, everything. I mean, the numbers go crazy. And like she was saying, this generation, unlike the millennials, they were raised online. And Charlie Kirk was able to make online an interesting, good place to help formulate religion.
Madeline, do you think the established church movement, certainly in the United Kingdom where I'm from, there is the rise in Catholicism amongst younger people is actually going towards the Catholic Church, going towards the more traditional, ultra-traditional church, while, the sort of Church of England and the established church is still trying to sort of chase this non-existent woke come to church movement. What's it like in the United States? Are we seeing, is it more traditional denominations that are seeing this boost, or is it right across the line?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because a lot of the movement is actually for tradition and for this kind of connection to the past and people who have lived before. I think people, Gen Z is kind of aching for that feeling of belonging that you get from a connection to the liturgy. So you see a lot of people joining the Catholic Church, joining the Anglican Church, which I'm a part of, and you have those kind of prayers and connections that you feel like you're really part of something much bigger than yourself.
I want to talk about, we could sit there and talk about religion for a long time, but instead we'll talk about the Maine Senate primary, where one of the candidates has got himself in a spot of bother in the fact that he has been revealed to have a Nazi tattoo. This is, I believe his name, Graham Planter. He says he got the tattoo when he was a Marine in Croatia, on land leave, which you can imagine was not a sober affair. Madeline, is it a career ender, presumably to have? Well, look, we can see it there on the screen, the skull and crossbones of the SS tattooed to your heart, and then also, does it show particular sort of political nous to take your shirt off in the Tune In, a renowned dive bar in DC, and show everyone that tattoo? That's got to be a career ender, right?
I would hope so. I don't know, though. I live in Virginia, where we had Ralph Northam as a governor. He had a scandal with blackface and a KKK costume, and this didn't have the effect.
And Jay Jones, who's running for Attorney General,
exactly,
won't pull out of the race despite sort of celebrating death. Are we sort of beyond the cancellation point now?
I kind of think we've reached this partisan point where we're going to back our guy no matter what, and every sort of attack is going to be, oh, that's coming from the right, that's coming from the left. This is our candidate, and we're going to stick with them.
Adrienne, do you think people are, as Madeline said, we're just bedding in now, and if it's all become so partisan that actually people 5, 6, 10 years ago, when we talk about cancel culture, but people that genuinely probably should not be elected politicians are able to get away with a degree of things on both sides now more than they would, because no one wants to give the other side a scalp.
Absolutely, it's my guy no matter what. And I would say about the tattoo, by the way, so I guess he's, a socialist of the nationalist kind.
Well, we worry about those two words when they're put together normally.
Correct. Yeah. But what I'm saying here is that also you've had enough time to also understand what that tattoo on your heart means.
Yeah.
Why haven't we covered that up? Because we definitely became sober after getting the tattoo, if that was the case. All this time has gone on. But yeah, taking the shirt off and showing everyone around. We live in a crazy world.
Well, and Bernie Sanders is standing by this guy. We are through the looking glass now, when the most famous left-wing politician in America, arguably, is standing by the guy who's a stream of racist Reddit comments and an SS tattoo. I mean, what next?
I think the lesson that the Democrats are learning is that you can do whatever you want, and whatever skeletons are in your closet, they can come out, and it will be okay.
Skeleton in the closet. There's a skeleton right there on his chest. Now, come on, right, let's look at the other big story, the other big talker in town tonight. The bulldozers have begun demolishing. There we go. The east wing of the White House, this £250 million White House ballroom, will be, Donald Trump says, a welcome addition to the White House. But obviously the left and his critics are going bananas. Hillary Clinton tonight saying Trump is destroying the sanctity of the White House, which is a bit rich given what her husband did in the West Wing. But we'll gloss over that. Madeline, I mean, it's not a great look, is it? But, you can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs. Is there any legal issues that Trump's going to run into this on this?
I'm not a legal expert, but I think the reason that people are freaking out is because they are primed to be upset at anything Trump does, any change that he makes. And I'm glad that you brought up Hillary Clinton, because she and her husband, when they left the White House, took $28,000 worth of furniture and other items that they had been given that they claimed that were for them, but were actually for the White House. And so they're saying, this is a sacred place, you can't mess it up, and here they were trying to take things.
But presidents over the past have now done significant renovations to the White House. JFK, obviously, it was being completely gutted and refurnished. The West Wing was built, the East Wing was built. The president, in your view, then has his right to leave his mark and legacy on the grounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Adrienne, do you reckon the big, beautiful flag will survive another Democrat president? It'd be a brave president, I think, of any stripe to take down the ginormous American flag. I think the ballroom, is privately funded and clearly going ahead, and the Arc de Trump will wait and see. But I think the patio. I think the Mar-a-Lago-style dining club. I think that might be ripped up by a future Democrat regime. What do you reckon?
Yeah, we'll see. I think at the end of the day, liberals were salivating at this photo of the demolition, right? And they just wanted that clickable headline that was like, he's destroying your house. Well, Eric Trump said, to Hillary Clinton, he had actually a great comeback. He said, the ballroom will be spectacular, unlike your work in Haiti. And listen, the mic is dropped. The mic is dropped.
Nothing that can't be a political football. I suspect we'll be hearing more about all of that again. Madeline, thank you for joining us. Adrienne, as ever.